Each person's goals are different. You know, here at Achieva, we really like to say that we support people to live a life of personal significance. One of the most important things that, you know, we work with young people and their families on is transitioning to employment, okay? We went to school, right? We left school, we got jobs. Same is true for people with disabilities. The expectation is somebody will leave school, they will have, you know, had some training while in school. Maybe they would have had a paid job while they were in school. And day after graduation, well, maybe they'll take a week off and enjoy some time off, but then the idea is that they will be employed. Of course, the other thing, again, all adults, is are they going to continue to live at home with their family? Are they going to want to move out of the family home into more independent lifestyle? So those are two issues. Another big issue is transition to adult medical care. This is one of the things that families often don't focus on right away, but again, one of the things that we talk with families about, the need to begin to leave, you know, the pediatrician, pediatrics, and move into adult health care. And depending on, you know, the health care needs of somebody with a disability, this can take a long time to find an internist, a family medicine practitioner, primary care physician, and then all of the specialists that somebody's going to need. So you've got employment, you've got, you know, housing, you've got supported living, you've got health care, and transportation. Transportation, again, whether you live in an urban area, suburban, or rural area, you have to begin to think about transportation, because throughout school you had that little yellow school bus come and provide transportation. Once you graduate, are you going to rely on your family? Are you able to take public transportation if public transportation even exists where you live? If not, what kind of transportation are you going to have to rely on? Each year we get calls from families, unfortunately close to when their son or daughter is about to graduate. There's not been good transition planning. And in some cases, it's a crisis. It's a preventable crisis. These are families who, for one reason or another, don't have things in place. So their young person has not taken advantage of all of the different employment supports in school. So there's not going to be, you know, a quick transition to employment. You know, one of the other things that needs to happen at the age of 18 is ensuring that the young person becomes eligible for what are government benefits. The young person may be eligible for Social Security income, for Medicaid. All of that has to be started well before the age of 18, so that upon the 18th birthday, that young person is eligible for these government benefits. Voting, the age of 18, you can now vote. Let's make sure, yes, we have an election coming up, let's make sure that the young person is registered. Let's make sure that the young person, you know, maybe there's a support coordinator during childhood and young adulthood. Let's make sure that support coordinator is in place and knows exactly what needs to transpire once graduation date is over. There's a couple specific groups of people that we're very concerned about. People with intellectual disabilities living with elderly caregivers. Now, we define elderly caregiver as somebody who's 60 and above. Now, mind you, 60 may not be elderly in everybody's minds, but we have caregivers in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s who are still caring for somebody with an intellectual disability living in the family home. So we have, you know, mothers and fathers in their 80s who are still caring for their adult child who is now in their 50s, maybe 60 years of age. So right now, about 20% of the waiting list are made up of elderly caregivers. So right now, the elderly caregivers total about 2,400 people. The other group that we frankly worry about are single caregivers. So this might be a mom or dad who is single now due to divorce or the death or incapacity of a spouse or partner. And right now, the number of single caregivers are about 2,800 people in that waiting list. Breaking it down a little bit further, about 25% of the emergency category are made up of single caregivers. And 33% of people living in the critical group are cared for by single caregivers. So when you think about the number of people on our waiting list who are cared for by either a single caregiver or an elderly caregiver, those are the people that we worry about the most.
Visit us online at wqed.org/autism for more web extras, links to resources, and to watch the documentary Autism Aging Out.